Good morning. This is Kelley Hobart from Alpaca Direct, and I hope you're all doing well out there. I am having a great time here this morning. The weather outside reminds me of spring, and the snow is almost melted, so I'm very excited for spring to get here so I can get outside and enjoy this lovely weather. Anyway, yes, it's gorgeous outside. I have this beautiful scarf that I'm working on today, and it is called the Horai Scarf, and I might be crucifying that, but can you see, it kind of looks like a flower, and it is so awesome. Do you see the pattern? I would pull it out more so that you could see it, stretch it out more, but I don't want to pull my work off the needles. And what this pattern does, see, here's what it looks like on the back. It still looks pretty, but you can tell the difference between the front and the back. And what I did to mine, do you see my edges? Do you see those lovely edges? I'm going to show you how to make your edges look like this if you want to do this scarf. So this scarf is made by Rocco. It's the same lady that designed that Hint of Carditude from Ravelry, which has over like 10,000 projects on it. So she's a very well known Japanese designer that is, I don't know, she's fantastic. She makes some unusual looking things. And so this is a free pattern that you can find on Ravelry. And I was excited to find it. What it does is it really excels. This pattern's great for a yarn that has a lot of drape to it. And my Bravo Alpaca and the Bravo Petites have, the baby alpaca has a lot of drape to it. And so I thought, oh, that's a perfect project for our yarn. So I'm going to try, and it might take 3 skeins. You see how wide it is. I actually haven't measured it. And when it's stretched out, I'm sure it's at least 12 inches, maybe even 14 inches. But I really like doing this project. So I wanted to show you how to do the Hurai Stitch. And then I wanted to show you how to do the Chinese Waitress cast on. And this is a cast on that can be found on the 211 cast on and bind offs. The lady who wrote that book is called Capsease, and that is Capsease, and it's a very popular cast on and bind off book. If you haven't seen that before, it's totally awesome. Well, I wanted to show them the bind off first. It kind of looks, if you look at the, excuse me, this is a cast on, not a bind off. But it kind of looks like an I-cord on it, but it lays very flat, and it kind of has knit stitches on both sides of it. And there is a YouTube video by Mimi Ketzer that I saw that shows a fantastic way of doing this cast on. And it's much easier to understand. So I wanted to show you how to do that today too. So don't forget, as we're going along, every single week we have a prize. And for this last week, it was either for a couple little boxes of these multicolored magnetic stitch markers. Our Alpaca Direct makes these, and they're fantastic for using stitch markers with these bright colors. So I like to use the pink for the beginning of the round, but you could choose whatever color that you like, and then you can identify the right-sided row versus your wrong-sided row. Oh, and I also wanted to offer these, and we were going to vote on that, right, Jim? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so don't forget as we're going along to let us know where you're from. If you're working on a particular project that you really like, make sure to put the name of the project in there. And we love seeing pictures too. And don't forget to share with your buddies so that we can all learn together as we're going along. Because I'm always trying to search for new things to learn, right, Jim? And improve my skills as I go along.
But talk about that other pattern. Remember you started one pattern and you decided not to, that you talked about last week? That long, narrow one?
Oh, yeah. It just wasn't ideal. And so I chose a different pattern. Sometimes if a pattern's too easy for me, it's like too mindless and I lose track of what I'm doing. I can mess up a really easy pattern faster than you can say lickety split because I just get distracted. It's for me, the more challenging and complicated the pattern is, the more I like it, because I just focus in on that. It's like trying to do a puzzle that's really hard to do. and you'll spend hours trying to conquer it. And it's the same way with knitting for me. So anyway, let's see what we have here. So first of all, I was thinking I would jump right into some skills, if you don't mind, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to look at that Chinese Waitress cast on, and I really like that cast on. Let's put that. You don't have to put your thing on. It's just for me to read so I can remember. Oops, and I forgot my crochet hook that's in this bag. Sorry, sweetie. I gotta grab it without tripping on anything. All right, let's see if I can get it out of here. Crochet hook. We're good. Now we're ready to go. So I wanted to show you, I cast on a few stitches using this Chinese Waitress cast on, and I wanted to show you what it looks like. So you see how you have some knit stitches here, and then if you turn it a little bit, do you see how you have more knit stitches? Isn't that cool? That's so awesome. I love learning new things, and this is a new cast on for me. So next week, I want to explore. I haven't done, I wonder if they have a Chinese Waitress bind off. And Jim, oh yeah, I was just going to talk about that. So the reason why it's called the Chinese Waitress cast on is because Capsise, or a friend of hers, I think it was a friend of hers, was in a restaurant in Japan, I believe, or China, or wherever she was. But I know the story goes that she was in a restaurant, and the waitress that helped them showed her the cast on while she was at the table. And so that's why she calls it that. And so that's pretty cool. Well, it just looks really neat on the bottom. It's kind of like an I-cord cast on, but it's a little less in your face, if you know what I mean. It's a little less prominent or protruding. So first thing you do is you start with a slip knot, knowing that when you get done and you cast on all your stitches, the slip knot is not actually going to be part of the cast on. You drop it off. So what you do is you take that slip knot and you put it on your left hand needle. Then you take your crochet hook and you make an X with it with the crochet hook in the back. And then you know how we always cast on, we wrap counterclockwise? Well, this time we're going to wrap clockwise around both of them. Okay. And then you turn that needle and you see how you have that little yarn is right there with the needle, and you grab it. Then you go to the back and you reposition your work. And that's just the repeat that you do over and over. So it's a clockwise wrap instead of a counterclockwise wrap. And you're bringing the yarn right to your crochet hook, and you turn that needle, the crochet hook, to the left and grab that strand of yarn. And so let's say that I'm going to cast on 10 stitches. So I have 4, 5, 6, oh, get your tail out of the way, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So I have 10 stitches. Let's count that up. 3, 6, 9, 10. Remember, this slip knot is not going to be here, right? So then you would take your crochet hook and you just do a chain stitch, just chain 1. And then you take that left hand needle and slip that leg in the back. So your right hand leg is in the front and the left hand leg is in the back. And you see how it makes that last stitch really look nice. Then all you have to do to complete that cast on is take your needle back to here and slip that slip knot off. And then you have 3, 6, 9, 10. Then you have a total of 10 stitches. So that is how you do the Chinese Waitress cast on. And you see, it's just like a thin I-cord. So next week, I should have my scarf done, and we can take a look at the Chinese Waitress bind off, if there is one. And if there isn't one, I'll find something that looks similar, and we can see what that might be. So I thought that was pretty cool, doing that Chinese waitress cast on your project, because it makes it look really cool. Now let's take a look at the Hurai stitch. And I just did a little tiny bit of a sample. So this whole pattern is free on Ravelry. And it's a very simple 4-row repeat. And what she does is uses very large needles for her yarn. And on my sample here, I just used whatever needles and whatever yarn that I have. Also, I wanted to mention to you, how can you make your edges on this project look stable? You can't really see here because she has it pulled out a little bit, but most of the people's edges look kind of warbly, like they're kind of warped looking. And so, if you cast on 4 extra stitches and you slip the last 2 stitches as needle tip to needle tip. So if you look right here, let's take a look. I know this is a wrong-sided row, and it doesn't matter. For your edges, you're going to always slip the last 2 stitches, and you're going to slip them with your working yarn in front, and you just slip them needle tip to needle tip. And then when you turn your work, all you're going to do is knit those. And then let me show you again what my edges look like. And it'll make an edge that looks like this. So it adds stability to your edge, and it looks beautiful, and it takes that warp look off of the edge. So it's a pretty cool technique that you can do. Just remember that if you're going to do a 2-stitch slip stitch edge on both sides of your work on either side, you have to cast on 4 extra stitches. So on mine, I had a cast on of 55 stitches, and I used number 9 needles with my Bravo alpaca yarn. So on here, I'm going to show you how to go back to the Horai stitch and do that stitch and have it easier. So I'm on row number 3 on my little sample, and it says knit 2. And you'll notice that I worked my 2 edges stitches, but they're not in this pattern because I added that to the pattern. Okay, so you would work your 2 edge stitches, and now you work their pattern, which is a knit 2, and then it is a Horai stitch, knit 1 to the last 1 stitch. So it's symmetrical on both sides. So here I am. I'm going to be doing a knit 3 together, yarn over, knit 3 together in the next 3 stitches. So I'll show you how that's done. So I take these stitches and pull them down first. A lot of people have a hard time doing the knit 3 together. And I'm just saying, if you give it a little tug first, your needle will easily go into that stitch. And then when you make your knit 3 together, yarn over, knit 3 together, I like to keep it loose so that you can really see that flower pattern open up. And that's all you do to make this stitch. Let me show you one more time. Take those stitches and give them a little tug. Insert your needle into the stitch, right down the knit 3 together, right down the center, and do a knit 3 together, yarn over, knit 3 together. And you see how I elongated the stitches, making them about the same, but keeping it loose. And that way it'll let your pattern bloom, and you can really see that beautiful pattern that you're making. And that's how you do the Horai stitch, which is basically a knit 3 together, yarn over, knit 3 together in the next 3 stitches. So it's pretty easy to do.
Why don't you show them how, just pull it over and show them this, the final one.
Sure. I'll see if I can stretch this pattern so you can see what we're making. I'm just going to try and stretch it out so you can see. Does that show, Jim?
Yeah.
It's very beautiful pattern. And I had never made this before, and I used a number 9 needles. I could have gone up to a number 11 needle. For me, this is going to be fine. I don't like my scarves to be too airy, because what happens, Jim?
You get cold.
No, it's easy to get snagged on things, and my dogs like to jump up and give me kisses, and they'll get their tootsies caught in my whatever I'm wearing.
And this is with the Bravo Alpaca?
Yeah, it's doing a really nice job, and I like how it looks, and it's so soft. Yeah, so I'm very excited. So I'll get this one done for next week, but I really like these edges, and just slipping those last 2 stitches, needle tip to needle tip with the yarn in front, so that your yarn is in the position to be able to knit it on when you flip your work over. It makes a huge improvement, and it's nice and straight on the edges. So that's just one way that you can make your edges nice and straight. You know, you could even do, if you didn't want to slip your stitches on the edge, you can even do a knit one, purl one, knit one on either side of your work. And so you would have to add 6 stitches, of course, but you could do that too. There's so many ways that you can iron out those edges on your work. Be creative, see what you guys can come up with, and just cast on a few extra stitches and have fun with it and do a little sample. That's what I like to do a lot of times. If I'm not sure, I'll just do a little swatch of what I want to do and see how it turns out.
What are they voting on this week? Is there a contest this week?
That's true. There is a contest this week. So for this week, I was thinking this Finito, it's by Malabrigo. It's a hand-painted yarn, and we have Archangel, and that's on your left-hand side. And this one is called Indicida. So Archangel or Indicida. And Finito it has a really nice halo to it when it's blocked. And it would actually make one of these scarves, nice scarf. And so I was thinking, it is hand-dyed superfine merino. It is a really nice yarn. I love this. This yarn is underrated. It is one of my favorite yarns for putting right next to your skin. You know why? No itch. Right. Absolutely no itch. Yeah, it's a great yarn. It's one of my favorites that they have. I probably, as much as I like Rios, I like the finished product of this yarn even better. Even better. Finito is really nice. The only thing is, if you're going to do a sweater out of it, it's a little on the expensive side. So choose a color that you like. And as always with our hand-painted yarns, don't forget to do every other row. You use 2 skeins at once. You know how you do that, Jim, right? You knit back and forth with one, and then you pick up the other and back and forth with the other. And that keeps that pooling from happening that happens with hand-knit sweaters that are hand-dyed.
How do you vote? There were some new people. How do you vote?
Oh, you just post comments in the comment section, and you let us know what you're working on. And maybe you tell us where you're from. Or you can give us, if you have an idea for, maybe you've done the Chinese Waitress cast on and you have an even easier way, you could let us know what that is. And then you'll be entered to win, and the prize is for 2 skeins of the Finito. And you guys all vote. You tell me if you want Archangel or Indicida. And then next week, this goes out to the lucky customer who wins. And then all you have to do if you win is you contact us with your shipping address, and we send it right in the mail to you. So you have a free little goodie and some nice little yarn to try. Who doesn't love free yarn? It's fantastic. It's totally fantastic. And the Finito is the bomb. It's really good. So for what was I going to talk about? Oh, I had a couple of things. For this next week, I was either going to do the Rocco Knits. They also have, yeah, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to start another project too. And I'm either going to be, she has a really nice sweater that I like, and it has some, the sleeves, the way they're done are really unusual. So I was thinking I might start on that. And I also really like this baby hat. And you see this little baby hat. This was a free pattern that I found on Ravelry. And what I liked about it, here's the sample from, you know how I always tell you to look at the Ravelry pictures to see which ones, you know, get comments from our fellow knitters. Isn't this a cute one? Can you see that, Jim? Isn't that a cute sample from a Ravelry knitter who knit that? It's like, oh, that's darling. Anyway, since I have a lot of babies being born into our family right now, I thought that might be neat. And let's take a look and see who the winner is for this week. Patricia Lessard. Yay! Hey, you won either You can eat these, right? Oh yeah, Patricia, if you haven't bought these yet, you're gonna love these. Well, you might have already bought them, but contact customer service and we'll get your stitch markers in the mail. I think you won these ones, and it is Patricia Lessard.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is 40 in each size. This is for the smaller needle size, up to like a 7 or 8 maybe. And then this is for your larger needles. These are my favorite stitch markers. So I hope that you enjoyed these as much as I do, Patricia. I'm sure you will.
She's a repeat winner too. I think she's
awesome. Nice. Congratulations. Again. I hope you enjoyed these wonderful stitch markers. If you're like me, you can never have too many stitch markers because we always have a lot of projects on our needles and we need more always. So that's wonderful. So congratulations, and I will talk to you next Tuesday, and we'll be taking a look at that Chinese Waitress bind off for sure, and then or something that's similar, something that will match it. And I hope that you all have a great week, and I hope that you have uncovered your lawns a little bit from the snow, and are enjoying the beautiful view out the window. It is gorgeous outside. So you guys take care, and I will see you next week.